I have 12 team members, and that's about it.
You've been in real estate how long?
In general brokerage for 4 years.
Okay. So there you go. Yeah. All right. So just as a sidebar, how do you build a business from zero to that in around 4 years? What's the short answer to that?
The short answer is being very purposeful, very focused, and lead generate. It's pretty simple.
Good answer.
Yeah.
There's no other way.
Well, I mean, we definitely overcomplicate it.
I think you do. Not you personally, no, but I absolutely agree with that. I think in general, what you will find, that's why when you interview people, and you gave exactly the same response like in our Pinnacle interviews, Tony, we have individuals who are doing 900 transactions or 700 transactions, and you look at that and you go, that's got to be complicated. Well, the reality is it actually isn't, because they did it one simple thing at a time. So the size of it looks complex, but it wasn't built in a complex manner. It was actually built in a simple manner. It was just layered and layered.
It just built off the basics layer. Basics layer, that's all.
Yeah, that's totally right. All right, so let's talk about creating unforgettable client experiences, right? Talk to me about that.
So I think that exactly what we were just talking about, when I got into the business, I spent a lot of time building my foundation. It was very important for me to build a business with a strong foundation so that I could build it quickly. I knew that I wanted a business that was run like a business. I recognized very quickly that a lot of real estate agents ran ragged, and I didn't want to be the real estate agent with my phone connected to my ear all the time and with no leverage. So immediately when I came into the business, I hired an assistant within the first 6 months, and hired out of relief, of course, because I knew where I wanted to go. So hired the first person that I met that needed a job, and then realized very quickly that, you know, there was a process to follow at Keller Williams, and when I followed Recruit Select, found a great assistant, and we began implementing systems that worked, and I was able to lead generate and build a great database that.
Well, how did you do that? I mean, how did you create? You said lead generation through relationships. What do you mean?
So I'm also very budget conscious. So I knew page 157 in the Red Book, I mean, is part of my 411. So I know the percentages from day one that I wanted my budget to hit. So I knew in the beginning I couldn't go get the big shiny object that was going to get me leads that came in the door. So I had to get my business from referrals. I had to get on the phone. I had to create strong relationships. I had to ask the people, my core advocates, who they knew that I needed to know, who did I need to get into business with, who they knew that was buying, selling, or investing in real estate. And 65% of my business comes from referrals, and the past 3 years it's been that way or higher. And as a result, my net profit every year has been 40% or higher.
But you're very purposeful about getting referrals.
Correct. We have a very systematic way of not only communicating with our database, but following up with our past clients. And until I got to a certain point in my business, which was last September, I didn't start a farm. And I didn't start doing mass lead generation until about 1.5 years ago. So, we do client appreciation parties. We do a lot of pop buys. And like our big client appreciation party.
See, let's back up. See, I'm going to blow off the overhead for just a second. When people talk about referral business coaching, again, it can be very, very varied, right? How do you do it in a purposeful manner such that you have confidence that you're actually going to make a living doing it?
Well, a couple
You're sitting back 4 years ago, you're thinking about the industry. What do you do?
It starts with the culture of my team. So it starts from within the team. And it took me a while to realize that.
What does that mean?
So you have to have a team that also is in line with your mission and vision, so that it can then, go out, into the client. So that's what the Creating Unforgettable Client Experiences is about.
So you set the tone and said right up front to anybody who's going to be employed or be a part of your business, this is the experiences we're going to create. Do it or get out.
Well, initially I tried to create what the mission was going to be, what the vision was going to be, and I had a revolving door of talent. So I realized very quickly the way to do that was not try to force your mission and vision on your people. So I did a few activities. So for our values, for example, I took the bold, values, and I handed them out at our team building day, and I told everybody to pick their top 5, and then we ended up narrowing it down to what we wanted our values to be. We did the same thing with beliefs. Like, we narrowed it all down so that it was a team mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspective. So that it wasn't mine, it was ours, and we created it together. And
Sidebar. You're describing how Keller Williams got done.
Right.
That's exactly what we did. It didn't come out of any single individual's head. We didn't drive any of this. We didn't write it down and tell people to live it. We did exactly. It all got built organically like that.
well, and it was
But you have to have the right people to ask those questions to.
That's right. Well, and it was pivotal for Wilson Realty Group. It was about 6 months after I hired a MAPS coach. I had a revolving door. I asked my coach, why do I have a revolving door? I have the biggest heart. I love my people. I'll give them my right arm if they need it. I don't understand why they don't want to be on my team. And I didn't understand, I didn't have a clear vision about what I stood for. So of course they didn't, there wasn't a reason for them to stay. So once we got really clear on that mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives, we became unstoppable. Not only did our...
Well, okay, I get all that. So I buy in totally. So what's the lead generation methodology? What are the action steps that you're actually taking to actually get referrals so you can deliver this approach?
So we do a 1-year marketing plan, and we have a very systematic plan that we communicate to our database, and then I have the buy-in from my team that they understand that we transform lives and create unforgettable client experiences. So everything we do, from our client appreciation parties to our pop buys to we just created a new T-shirt that has it's kind of a vintage collegiate looking T-shirt that has like a satisfaction guaranteed stamp on it that has create unforgettable client experiences. Like, everything goes back to that mission. And when something isn't going right on the team, like a lead doesn't get followed up with, all the lead manager has to say to the buyer agent is, you're not creating the experience that is our standard. I'm passing the lead. So everything doesn't come right back to me. And we become a magnet for referrals with our clients because that experience is so, we can replicate that experience every time they come back to us, and we're a magnet for referrals now. Not only do I lead generate for them, but I'm getting a lot more referrals because our standard has
It takes a
gone
lot
up.
of courage, doesn't it, to put that kind of experience out there. I mean, to hold yourself accountable to that. What if you fail?
Right. I mean, I think when you raise your standards, yes, you have to be able to deliver it every single time. I think
It's okay to fail. What was the setup? It's okay, because a lot of people out there I guarantee you there's a lot of people that inside are afraid to be willing to say, we'll do whatever it takes to make sure that this experience happens.
Right.
But the reality is if you fail, it's an opportunity for you to prove exactly why they hired you.
That's exactly right. Well, and the other part of it is, when you make sure your systems are documented and have that operations manual, it is much more replicable. Like, you can repeat the same experience for clients over and over, but it does give you opportunity.
Did you end up with a singular individual that outside of yourself represented this more than anyone else?
On my team? So my closing coordinator probably understood it initially more than anyone else, and she's the one who has a source of more, I mean, we've been able to use her in a lot of, as a staff member. Now my buyer agents, I mean, we get about 19% of our referral business is from buyer agents also generating referrals from their sphere. So they get it, but my closing coordinator generates referral business just from her level of service. So she gets rewarded on that. She also has been able to narrow her service down to just negotiating inspections and client interaction because she's so good at creating the unforgettable client experience.
The reason I asked, I knew it had to be true because when you see a superb team, there's the coach that's on the sideline, a la you, and then there's the coach that's on the field, a la one of the players. And usually, again, there's a book called The One Thing, and what it talks about is that, and you're living it, is this idea that it's one person at a time. In other words, you find someone who's the standard bearer, and they don't happen to have your name, and you make sure that there's someone on your team who, if you're out of the room, repeats the mantra. And it's coming from the heart, but they live it too, and they get it, and they set that standard. And then what happens, once that occurs, you're going to be golden. It's going to happen because they're going to scare the wrong people off, or they're going to shut up, or they're going to convert some who are walking down the middle of the road. They're going to convert them over to the happy side versus the dark side.
Well, and I think I devalued having a mission, vision, values, and beliefs.
Most do.
Until, I realized how toxic having someone who wasn't in culture was. So when you have it, and then you have someone who's not in line with your culture, so you hire someone who's not in line, and then so we.
Well, here's the reality. The reality is everyone has one. What you discovered is the value of pulling it out and identifying it. When you don't have one that you created and that you purposely created, you have one that you didn't purposely create.
That's right.
One always exists. There's always a mission and a vision and values out there. The trick is, did you really think it through? Is it really what you want? And can we set it out there and be something that we can evaluate everything against? That's what you're telling us.
Right.
And everyone has one. If you didn't articulate it, you got one anyway.
Might not be.
Lord help you what it is. Yeah,
right.
Lord help you what it is and how that's working against you. Because I guarantee it's big challenges out there. There's a lot of value in it.
How do you train your clients to give you those referrals? You're a magnet. Are you training them to give you referrals, or does it just happen because of the service?
No, I mean, I think it obviously starts with, the phone calls and asking for the business. I mean, we obviously have a call to action on everything that those clients get. I call all my past clients personally once a quarter. They get an item of value once a month. And then we have a lot of different events throughout the year. So because I am very budget oriented, I realize that my return is much better if I'm doing things for my sphere of influence and my past clients. So the client parties and the pop pies and things like that. So we do football magnets that, I'll go to their house. Their football magnet from the year before is there. 4 ACC teams, the Carolina Panthers, they're all, it appeals to the masses because it has all the teams. They keep that on the refrigerator. A sticker for their air conditioning unit that tells them when to change their air filter, but it has our logo on it, and they call us when they need a new, air filter sticker.
And that's all built sequentially over time. If you don't do all those things simultaneously, you ask if I could just do one of those right now, what would that be? Says everything is easier and necessary to do that, live with that for a little while, and then you say, now what's the next thing I can do? What's the one thing I can now do to build on that? So over time, it looks very intimidating. It's a very big business.
What's interesting about, because we got in the habit of the system of fostering these referrals, when I created my farm, now I get referrals from just about every farm client. So we get a lead from the farm, and then we get referrals. So the farm pays out way more than what a typical farm should, because we're not only fostering the farm, but then we put it on the same past client referral plan. So I think it just makes sense to start with, first of all, it works for your budget, and then anything else you implement, it just makes sense.
Content and experiences. There's a mantra here that's happening that you'll hear over and over again. We heard about content in the last panel, but immediately we're already into this thing about experiences. What happens is people are interested in content. If it's interesting content, it doesn't matter what it is, they're going to be interested in it. In reality, you can run your own reality show. In terms of experience, it's the same thing. If people have a good experience with you, you don't have to pay them to tell others.
Right.
They want others to experience you. And they'll tell them. They will bring them in and tell them that it's a good experience. Right?
And they do.
All right, thank you, Gary. Gail, tell us a little about yourself.
Hi, Gary. Nice to
Hi,
meet you.
Jim.